and welcome to the latest episode of Weekend Winners in association with BetVictor. This is your go-to show for your best bets ahead of the weekend. And this weekend, we're going to be looking at a mix of races from Doncaster and Newbury, where our races are headlined by the Grin Thorpe Chase. We're also going to be looking ahead to the Mayor's Hurdle as well as the Ryanair Chase as our anti-post races in focus ahead of the Cheltenham Festival. And I'm going to be looking ahead to all of these races in my usual company of Declan of AtTheRaces.com and Sam Boswell of BetVictor. Sam, how are you?
Very well. Been on the gravy train this week. Lucky enough to go to the Cheltenham Weights lunch and festival previews left, right and centre. We've got our sponsorship at Newbury this weekend. Busy time of year, but a fantastic time of year. Loads to get excited about. So
much going on. I think sleep is just a figment of our imagination at this time of year, Declan, to be fair. I know that a lot of us, as Sam has said, on the gravy train, but you're very much on it yourself.
No, I haven't been slurping this year, yeah, so it's just as well, because I don't think I was prepared for Cheltenham this year. We've been so busy, but yeah, look, it's an exciting time of year. I'm burning up here, I'm getting Cheltenham fever at the moment, so, but before Cheltenham, we've got an exciting weekend to get stuck into, Doncaster, Newbury, Kells, so plenty of good action before the big 4 days.
Yeah, it's that kind of Christmassy feel about it, isn't it, where we're all just anticipating the Cheltenham Festival, but we still have plenty to go at anyway. Now, we do say it every week, but please do remember to gamble responsibly and that our tips are not guaranteed to win, but we will still try our best anyway. And do remember to hit the like and subscribe button on the At The Races YouTube channel so you never miss an episode. Right, let's crack on with the racing because we're going to begin with the Grimthorpe Chase. This comes up at Doncaster at 3:15 over 3 mile 2. 8 runners in here where Cooper's Cross heads the betting in a bid to double up on his Sky Bet Chase win from last time out. So Declan, who are you siding with?
Yeah, it's going to be under supervision here for me, but I don't want... I have a lot of respect for Cooper's Cross. I loved how he won the Sky Bet last time. You know, how he travelled into the race when the pace was really quick and going to 4 out. He was still doing it all so easily and probably got to the front a little bit sooner than ideal. He was a good winner. Yeah, but just at the price, it's going to be under supervision for me. I think he would have easily finished in the first 3 the last time out on the Sky Bet. When he was unlucky, he brought down 2 out. I just thought the way it was really interesting. I went back and watched that video a couple of times. How he was kind of brought unseated. Sorry, he darted really rapidly to his right, which suggested to me he wasn't a tired horse at all. I think he had plenty left in his locker, you know, to show that quick feet. Now, I'm not saying he would have won or he would have finished second. I think he easily would have finished third. But he's £7 better off with Cooper's Cross this time around. I think going up in trip again, an extra 2 furlongs is going to suit as well. And he comes in here probably in maybe a little bit fresher as well because he probably didn't have a hard race the last time. His jumping, I thought last time out was maybe the best he's jumped in a little while. Jumping's definitely not his strong suit. He's a little bit fiddly, he's a bit rigid. But last time out, he looked a bit more nimble in places, which I'm taking encouragement from. I think he's carrying 10 stone 3. The Nigel Twist and Davis horses are running really well. And the small field, I think there's only 8 going to post. That's all going to suit him. No doubt about it, Cooper's Cross is the horse to beat. But I just think at the prices, with the £7 swing in the weights, under supervision for me.
Prices dictating them, but he's a proper grinder though, isn't he, under supervision? And like I say, he was still coming into contention at that stage when he unseated. Very unfortunate too, but I'm not going to let the swing of weights dissuade me because I'm still sticking with Cooper's Cross to double up on that Sky Bet win from last time out because he just really looked to appreciate the step up in trip. 2-3 miles for the first time under rules. I know he's run over 2 miles 7. Looked a bit of a non-stayer on that occasion, but he really appreciated the step up in trip last time out. First time cheek pieces fitted as well. And for all that his nearest challenger did fall, I thought that he still had the race in safekeeping anyway. Form evidently boosted by the second horse, Captain Ord, winning so well at Ascot. Enough expectation on Captain Ord that day as well. But he was still foiled by Cooper's Cross, gets the cheek pieces fitted again, £5 rise. Cooper's Cross for me. Sam, how are you siding? Or who are you siding with?
I mean, you've just basically taken my thunder, Kate.
You're very welcome. That's why I got in there first.
Exactly. Cooper's Cross 9-4. I know he's the favourite. I know it's a bit boring to put him up, but he's only up 6 from that. I just really was taken with him. Interestingly, with this particular race, you tend to want horses that are carrying 11 stone or less. You've got to go back to the Last Samurai in 2016 to find a horse that carried over that to victory. Obviously, Kim Bailey does have an interesting runner in here, second favourite in the betting, but I was just really taken with that win. I kind of think he's a progressive horse, and since that win, the yard have been absolutely flying. I think it's something like a 34% strike rate for Stuart Coulthard. He had a double recently, winner at Sedgefield recently. They're absolutely flying, and I just think it's going to go to the favourite again. Boring selection, but that's where I'm going to lean to.
Oh, I don't think it's so boring. The fact that we're both siding with the favourite here. Yeah, Cooper's Cross for a pair of us two. Declan, your selection,
Yeah,
though?
at the prices, it's going to be under supervision for me.
Fair enough then, right. So we're sort of divided, sort of in agreement then about our opening race. Now we're going to switch to an earlier race on Doncaster's card. We're going to go to the 1:30. This is a 2-mile handicap chase and another trappy enough affair this. Calico heads the betting, a horse that gave John Bon a real fright last time out at Warwick. But as I say, Declan, it is trappy enough anyway. So who are you siding with?
Yeah, it is a trappy again. I just thought at the prices, Mackenberg was the horse I'm going to... was the bet. I think it's interesting Donald McCain is backing him up within kind of 3 weeks after what looked a poor run at Warwick, but he didn't get into any kind of jumping rhythm that day. Warwick is a track like that. If you don't get into a rhythm and you have jumping frailties, it really can expose you as a horse. But look, this fella's best form has come here at Doncaster. His career best, he was here 2 starts back in a very strong 2-mile handicap chase. I thought he was a little bit unlucky how the race panned out that day. He was bounced out last in a much bigger field, so the smaller field's going to suit as well. And it just kind of Brian Hughes, I thought he gave him a little bit to do just from the get-go, but it got worse and worse then because the pace slowed down going across the side of the course, which meant tactically he was in a worse position again. He'd made up ground late in the straight, showed to me he was still in good order. Not entirely straightforward. He can lug a little bit left and he can jump a little bit left as well, but I just thought this race might set up a little bit better for him in terms of helping his jumping. Don't see a lot of pace in the race, and I think he's a kind of a fundamentally quicker horse than a few in here. So at the prices with the McCain team in good order and the champion jockey aboard, it's going to be a Mackenberg for me.
Oh, so Declan taking on those at the head of the market yet again then in this race. But Sam, are you also thinking along similar lines, or how are you playing it?
No, a few people have suggested that Calco might be a bit of a trap here at 6-4. I disagree. I think, you can take that run against John Bon and read it in many different ways. Some people will consider John Bon to have massively underperformed. Some people might suggest that Calco sort of overachieved that day. But as far as I'm concerned, this is a horse, and we're watching back his Southwell win. There is a bit of substance to this horse as well. You go back earlier in the season, he ended up second to That's All Right Gino, who's now rated 144. There's plenty of suggestion to think that he should be the market leader here, and that 6-4 is a fair price. Whether it's a value price, I don't know, but to my eye, he's the most likely winner. He ticks plenty of boxes. He'll go in any type of ground, judging by his form. I don't really understand why people aren't sort of understanding maybe more why he's a favourite. And I know you want to take him on, Kate.
I do, yes. Nicely teed up, Sam. Very nicely done. I am slightly suspicious of his form, and at that current price, I think he is worth taking on all the same. So I'm siding with the second horse in the betting here, with Pay the Piper, to hopefully double up on his win from last time out, because it was a very likeable one. It was in the Scottish Champion Chase, which is a race that's been seen to winning effect to go into this race on the back of anyway. And that race, as we know at Musselburgh, where it just favours front runners, he came from further back in that. So to pull out an over 4-length win was really very impressive. And we know that Anne Hamilton's horses, at that sort of around that time at the start of February, they all just started turning. And with that yard, when the horses start running better, that's the time to really side with them. So I'm hoping that Pay the Piper can just continue that progression. The fact he pulled that clear of the second, it was a further 15 lengths back to the third horse as well. So I think that this rise of £6 is very, very feasible for Pay the Piper to overcome. I thought it was going to be worse of a rise.
I think the change of tactics maybe suited him last time out, didn't they? And what you say about the Hamilton yard is spot on, because Tommy's Oscar obviously bounced back to form at Doncaster a few weeks ago as well. He was a horse to me. Tommy's Oscar didn't look to be finishing out his races, but as you say, they've clicked into gear now, the Hamiltons.
Yeah, they really have done. So yards size. So Pay the Piper for me, Sam.
Calco off 137.
And Declan, we're all divided.
Yeah, at the price it's going to be Mackenberg for me. So Q Citations winning.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, now that we're all divided in a very trappy, small runner affair, Q us not talking about the winner in the end. But hopefully we've managed to find you that. Now, the next race we're going to be looking at, we switch tracks now, because we're going to be heading down to Newbury. This is for the BetVictor Greatwood Gold Cup handicap chase for over 2 mile 4 at 2:45. Now, we're pretty sure that Zanza is going to run here instead of Kelso. Back in a handicap here. So, Sam, can he double up?
Yeah, potentially. I just want to take, actually weirdly, having tipped a couple of favourites, I'm quite keen to take both the pair at the front on. They're the classiest horses in the race. Stands at 11-4, Paint the Dream for the Fergal O'Brien team 3-1, and I can understand why they both deserve significant respect. But I kind of kept going over and over this in my head, and I kept coming back to a horse that was originally a double-figure price, I think now 9-1 with ourselves, and that's Espoir de Guy, who's joined Paul Nicholls from Venetia Williams, had a wind-up since joining. And listen, it's no disrespect to Venetia, but any trainer that ends up with a horse going to Paul Nicholls is more or less a trainer upgrade, I think it's fair to say. The horse itself, I originally thought would be better suited by a bit more ease in the ground, but I've gone back through the form, I've looked at the sire, and actually, I think good ground will be absolutely fine for this horse. I'm really curious to see how he goes here. I think the mark is fair, and I just think there's a bit of juice. It's a shame we haven't got the 3 places. That's the only thing that nags against me. So I'll have to make it a win-only bet. There's no point playing 2 places for me here. So that's where my darts landed.
On the nose then, yeah, an interesting stable switch there. But Sam did mention the ground, Declan. We're expecting quick enough conditions yet again at Newbury, which is probably why we've got lesser runners.
Probably not as quick as they were the last meeting for the Betfair Hurdle meeting. You know, that meeting was just bananas. It'll be interesting to see how form stands up to that meeting in general. It was firm National Hunt ground, track records broken all over the shop. It was a bit of a mental meeting, to be honest. I don't know what to make of some of the form from that day. But look, we'll see. Newbury, at that time of year, weren't allowed to water, so they are allowed water now, so it should be kind of closer to kind of goodish National Hunt ground instead of the flat racing service that the Lockins horses probably wanted at Newbury.
Yeah, exactly that. But in terms of who you're siding with?
Yeah, I'm going to side with Gemarand here, the Venetia Williams horse. I just love this horse, how he goes about his business. Can get a little bit warm, but if he gets warm before the race, I think that's a positive for him. That won't be a negative. He's just got such a lovely way of going out in front, pricking his ears, eyeing up his fences. Really good jumper, strong traveller with a little bit of boot. Don't see a lot of pace in here. Maybe Gemarand and Lord Baddesley could have an easy enough lead. You know, hopefully they don't go silly and take each other on. But I just think he's a progressive horse physically as well. He still looks all legs to me. Going to get better as the season goes on and maybe even be better again next year. Venetia has won this race before, back in 2014. 7-year-olds are 3 for 8, and Venetia, I think she's also had a couple of places in this race over the years as well. So a race she targets, horses in form, could get the run of the race. The key is good ground and a flat track, and he gets all of that here.
I'm in total agreement with you, and thank goodness that those trends have further bolstered my theory behind this horse as well with Gemarand, because I totally agree. I think he's so progressive. I love the way he goes about his business. He's so straightforward, goes out in front. He jumped beautifully last time out. I was concerned about the fact that he might be being taken on for the lead here with a few, like say, potential pace angles then within there, but all the same, he's very progressive for me. He did win with a £3 claim on his back last time out, so he has Charlie Deutsch on this time around, so technically he's £9 worse off than he was last time out, but it was such an easy win. Again, I was expecting a worse hike in the weights for Gemarand. And like I say, of all the Venetia Williams horses, he's one that doesn't mind a sounder surface from what we've seen of him previously. So yeah, Gemarand for the pair of us too. Sam, just to reiterate.
Yeah, Espoir de Guy for me. Paul Nicholls 27% strike rate. First time for him. Had a wind up. I'm willing to take the chance at a bit of a price.
Oh, perfect. Again, so we're in some sort of agreement again, disagreeing in other areas, but we always like that. And do let us know your own selections for all of the races we've covered so far. Anyway, now we're going to move over to the Sky Pad because we're going to be looking ahead to the Mares Hurdle as well as the Ryanair Chase. And I'll also be getting the lads' best bets for the weekend. Now, we're only 2 weeks away from the Cheltenham Festival, and on this week's Weekend Winners, we're going to see if we can find the winner of the Mares Hurdle as well as the Ryanair Chase. So, Declan, to start with yourself, with the Mares Hurdle, obviously a wide-open race, looking like it could be one of the races of the entire week, but who are you siding with?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm really looking forward to this race if they all line up. Honeysuckle, Epitant, Marie's Rock, Brandy Love, you name it, they're all there. So Love Envoy as well, we should give a mention. Yeah, look, I think at the prices, I'm probably going to side with Marie's Rock. Look, we've been doing these anti-post previews and I've tried to approach it from an anti-post point of view in terms of horses that could shorten and whatever, but I just couldn't find a horse at a decent price that I liked in this race. So I've kind of gone to the head of the market in Marie's Rock. Last year's really impressive winner. You know, I thought the ground last year might have been quick enough for her just given how she moves, but not a bit of it. She travelled so strongly, and she travelled so strongly to still come up the hill like she did. You know, she's got some serious engine. There is a little bit of chat about her maybe going for the stairs, and there's rain forecast next week. If all that rain comes, I think it's too much of a risk. You know, the ground won't be as quick as it was last year on the Tuesday. That was a pretty firm surface last year. They'll have rain. Hopefully next week they'll probably be they'll overwater as well. You know, it's just the way things are at the moment, unfortunately. But I think the mare's race sets up really well for her. I loved what she did in the Rel Keel. People might be wondering why it took so long for Nicky Henderson to get a run into her. Nothing serious, just hadn't come to herself. Nicky gave her plenty of time, and I think it's fair to say she fairly came to herself that day. She was so impressive. I can see why they're potentially looking at the stayers with her. Maybe Nicky wants to break up her and Epitante as well. But look, I think this is the race they should be running her in. She just looks a progressive mare. Used to get really, really warm. She has settled down a little bit, and that's the only worry with her going up on trip. If there's rain, could it all just kind of run a race away, a bit like Annie Power did the year she was in the stairs hurdle. So yeah, it's going to be Marie's Rock. Nothing too fancy for me in this race.
Making the most of that non-runner money back concession, of course. Like say, should she go for the stayers hurdle either, then you get your money back.
Yeah.
If she does end up going for that race. So Sam, yourself then for the mares.
Yeah, well, my selection's double the price, and I thought Love and Wild was being a little bit disrespected in the market. 6-1 at the moment. We didn't get to see her at Warwick. She has had a workout since at Kempton, and this horse last season was absolutely phenomenal. Only beaten at Fairyhouse. That came at the end of a busy season by Brandy Love, who's a good horse in her own right and deserves respect for that effort. But I'm a huge fan. I just think the market 6-1 just seems just too big. You could have the filthiest each way bet in the world on her if you want to. Now, I'm sure my paymasters won't be too impressed by that suggestion, but I do think at 6-1 she stands out for me. Her 2 runs at Sandown this season have been great. Declan's obviously mentioned the weather. We are on Weather Watch. I don't think I would like to see a bit more rain. I would say that. I think a softer surface would suit her well. But the win last year in the mares, we know she goes at Cheltenham. There's just so much to like about her. As far as I'm concerned, I think 6-1's a bit of an insulting price, and I'd probably make a bit more of a 9-2, 4-1 shot myself. So that's where my pen landed.
OK, but you are again on Weather Watch, though, with the further rain to come.
A little bit.
It's tricky to know exactly what to expect. We've got cold conditions forecast then for next week. We've got the germination sheets down at Cheltenham. So whether that's going to hold the moisture in, I've no idea. I have never been trained in clerking or anything like that. So, yeah, we all become experts on ground at this time of year, don't we? But, yeah, do bear that in mind, though, for those selections. Now, I'm going to side with the horse that needs to be supplemented for this. Epitante, of course, we're not entirely sure still if she's going to go here or Champion Hurdle, but Nicky Henderson was saying earlier on this week that he is more leaning towards the mare's hurdle, so hopefully she will be supplemented. Now, I love Honeysuckle, and I really would love to see her win this race, of course, but there was so little to separate her and Epitante for me, so I have to side with the bigger price of Epitante, who, yes, got booted out the way by Honeysuckle in last year's Champion Hurdle, but for all I'm nowhere near as harsh on Honeysuckle's regression, I do think she's probably £5 below that level now, whereas I don't think Epitante is. And I think, if anything, she's probably being kept at that high level by running against Constitution Hill, because at Kempton she actually tried to put it to him, which saw her beaten even further than Newcastle. But it was probably a better run for me, and she regained the winning thread last time out, which will hopefully just have been a nice boost, basically a bit of a confidence boost for Epitante then on the back of that win last time out. So Epitante for me. Declan?
Yeah, for me it's going to be Marie's Rock.
And Sam?
Love and Vol, we're all taking on Honeysuckle.
I know. God, we've got no hearts. What is wrong with us? Yeah, there's no need for sentiment then, apparently, with any of us. But I'm pretty sure we'd all love to see Epitante and I would definitely love to see Epitante win. Yeah. Honeysuckle win all the same anyway. Do let us know your own selections for the mare's hurdle. Now we're going to move on to the Ryanair Chase, a race that probably needed a bit of a boost. The horse to really stamp their authority on this race after we lost Allaho at an earlier stage from this race this year, the dual defending champion. So Shishkin is now at the head of the betting. And Declan, I have to come to you first. You've been flying the Shishkin flag for a long time now, so you must be sticking with him.
Well, the Gold Cup flag, maybe, not the Ryanair flag. But yeah, look, if we're being brutally honest, it looks an awful Ryanair. You know, if Shishkin turns up in anywhere decent form and he runs here, he's going to bolt up. I can see him just adoring the new course as well. You know, I think he'll eat horses alive coming up that hill if he's in good order again. Yeah, but look, I just at the prices, you know, again, anti-post preview, trying to get a little bit of value in the bank. I'm going to actually stick with Envoy Allen. You know, it'd be great to see this horse come back as well. You know, I think whatever horse of Henry de Bromhead's wins at Cheltenham will get a big reception, but especially Honeysuckle and Envoy Allen. Look, he has to bounce back from the poor King George form, no doubt. But when he won at Down Royal early in the season, it was lovely to see him travel in Rachel Blackmore's hand, strained the reins, looked in good order, and he was very heavily backed all on the lead up to that race and on the day. So I think with him, if you back him now each way, I think we'll know our fate as we get closer and closer to the race, because the Bromhead team clearly know when they have him in good order. But if he returns in good order, I can easily see him running second. You know, Shishkin has to back up off a big run the last time. If he doesn't do that, you know, then it's game ball really. The King George run, got to mention it, very disappointing, but we shouldn't forget the year Imperial Commander won the King George, won the Ryanair. He also had a very disappointing run in the King George and also went there straight. Envoy Allen proved last year with his good run in the Champion Chase, he can go from Christmas to March and still run big.
That would bring the absolute house down, wouldn't it, if Envoy Allen could go at least close then in this race, if not win it. And he's a very fair price as well, so he makes a good case there, Sam, doesn't he? Who are you siding with?
He does, but I got my tips in early here, and this is how I managed to bag Shishkin. So fair play to Deck, because he did put him up for the Gold Cup. He got a lot of stick and left field angle, but I can tell you what, it shortened. It's non-runner, no bet, so fair play to him. But he goes here and wins this race. This is going to be, Thursday looks to me on paper to be potentially a bit of a bookie's pain day, and this horse is going to be a really core anchor leg of that. And at 8 to 11, I know he's short, but I just think, if he doesn't bounce, he wins, doesn't he? That's basically it. If he jumps, he wins. If he doesn't bounce, he wins. I think Nicky Henderson has been doing this long enough to know what it takes to get a horse to the festival and win off the back of it is a pretty quick turnaround, but because he hasn't had that mileage on the clock this year.
Just looking at that race, he could bounce and still win, to be honest. It's that bad. That kind of feel to it.
It is, isn't it? And like, you know, I did try and look through. The only other kind of horse that interests me at a bigger price of French Dynamite, I thought Mouse Morris's, just because I think he'll come here. If you want to back something each way, I'd do it fairly soon, because I think it is going to cut up. You're possibly not going to get 3 places on the day. No,
and that's going to be the biggest concern. And that's the way that I've played this race, because you have a whole load of horses in the betting there that basically aren't going to run in this race. And it's not a vintage renewal of the Ryanair by any means, hence why Shishkin has found himself as short as he is at the head of the market. And like I say, if he runs to the form that he ran at Ascot, he's not going to, none of them are going to see which way he goes. Yeah. It is complete game over, but he does have that bounce question to have to answer all the same. So I'm going to use the non-runner money back concession, side with a horse that we know at least is going to run here, still just about available at an each way price, and that is Janadil, because he did best of the rest behind Allaho in this race last year, and he just loves this trip. He's perfect for this trip. He was given a brilliant ride last time out by Rachel Blackmore to upset the odds-on favourite in Lutain Colleur, but that wasn't any fluke at all to my eye in that race, and it was just a perfect prep to take into Cheltenham. Stablemate isn't here this time around, so it should be much more feasible for Janadil to go well in the Ryanair yet again. So Janadil each way for me. Declan?
Yeah, for me at this moment it's going to be Envoy Allen each way at 12 to 1.
Perfect. And Sam?
Shishkin to win, and on the day I'll be using the length in the odds market and go by at least 7.
Oh, OK, good. Bullish. We're getting more and more bullish as this goes on. So I like it a lot. So they are all of our selections for the Ryanair Chase. Again, do let us know your own selections for the Ryanair. Lots of divided opinions about that particular contest. Right, they are our best bets then for the Mares Hurdle as well as the Ryanair Chase. So I'm going to get the lads' best bets for this weekend up next. So Declan, you know the score by now. Your next best and long shot, please.
Yes, I have got my Nigel Twiston-Davies pyjamas on this weekend.
Don't want to be visualising.
Yeah, maybe duffel coat is better. But yeah, I'm hoping that the Twiston-Davies family have a good day at Donny on Saturday. Sergeant Wilson is going to be the nap. Officially rated 112. I think that mark is very workable. He's well handicapped to me. You've got to go back to one of his first runs at the season at Chepstow and a really good maiden hurdle that's worked out strongly. Then went to Newcastle and was beaten by a nice horse. What I liked about him though is he settled a little bit better that day and he jumps well. He is a little bit of a headbanger, this lad now, so I just hope he turns up in good form. But the first time hood that he had on last time out seemed to work, seemed to settle him down a little bit. I'm hoping he will go close. The next best we've already discussed earlier in the show. It's going to be under supervision in the Grimthorpe, and the long shot is going to be Donny Boy up at Kelso. He's another horse that is well handicapped. I think he's rated 125 at the moment. Some of his novice hurdle form last year was very good. Just hasn't taken to chasing this season. Last time out, he also bled, which is a bit of a worry, but he's coming here fresh. Trainer's in good order. Larkin Williams rides. He needs to settle. He's a little bit kind of, pick two headbangers. He's a little bit of a headbanger as well. He needs to settle. He's a son of Westerner, but there is a bit of pace in the race. If Larkin Williams can get him switched off and he's in good order, he'll definitely outrun that price.
Oh, like it a lot then. Very nicely done. Now, Declan's wearing his Nigel Twiston-Davies pyjamas this week, Sam. What pyjamas are you wearing?
I don't know. Let's get a winner pyjamas. That's all.
Winning pyjamas, we like it.
Pyjamas would do.
The best kind.
The best kind. Yeah. So let's kick off with my nap. Going for Cooper's Cross. We've spoken about him an awful lot. Kate, I know you're in full agreement here as well. I know he's 9-4 in a decent-looking chase, but I'm pretty convinced he'll take all the beating. We'll move on to Colonel Harry going up to Kelso. Now, really interesting. It does look like a bit of an Emmett Mullins day when you go through that Kelso card. He certainly targeted it. He's got the favourite in the Premier race here, but at 7-1, Colonel Harry for me, he won at Newcastle last time out at 1-4. He didn't learn too much there. The Tolworth run was very, very good, I thought. He's also won on really heavy ground at Sandown, and he just looks like a really, really nice horse. I know a few people had mentioned him as a potential each-way shot for the Supreme, but Jamie Snow's going to send him here instead, and I think it's a great choice. And at 7-1, I think he's good value. And then finally, my long shot is Champagne City. Now, he's not getting any younger, and he's in one of these sort of senior hurdle races. I really like the profile of him. His trainer, obviously, Ben's just starting out. He's got some really good material to work with on behalf of his dad, but I think he's got the right idea. This horse has been on the all-weather through December, but going back through the form book, his mark is quite attractive here, and I think he might just get a tune out of him. The surface will be no problem as well. We've already been talking about the ground enough. He's 12-1 at the moment at time of recording, and I really like his chances.
So we're in agreement in some ways, and some ways definitely not then with our best bets for the weekend, Sam, because my nap, total agreement with you that I just think Cooper's Cross is going to take all the beating in the 3:15 at Doncaster. I think he still remains so well treated. The form was boosted, as we say, by Captain Ord from that Sky Bet chase as well. So Cooper's Cross, also my nap. Pay the piper in the... what race is that? The 1:30 up at Doncaster, which is the 2-mile handicap chase there. Hopefully he will be able to double up on his win from last time out. I think he did really well to win at Musselburgh in the way that he did, so I think he remains very well treated. And then my long shot, I'm going Banjack, so I'm taking on Colonel Harry. Colonel Harry was my idea of the EBF final winner after he ran so well in the Tolworth, but he's coming here, probably going to go to the Supreme. I think he wants to step up in trip, soft ground, so I'm slightly annoyed that he's coming here instead, because I adore the horse, but Banjack to me just looks too big a price. He's already being nibbled in as well, so have to side with him. And I just think that for all that we talk about Emmett Mullins at Kelso this weekend, I think Lorna Fowler is also going to have a very successful, very profitable Saturday at Kelso. Banjack, he remains lightly raced, showed good form on his debut to finish second in a Fairy House bumper. Last time out on his hurdle debut, he just took to it like a duck to water. He jumped so well, he travelled so well. He gave the 1-3 shot home, my lord, from the Willie Mullins yard a right scare as well, but he was just sort of given an education as much as anything, fair enough, on his hurdle debut. So I can't believe that the favourite's the price he is, he's the price that he is when they have such a similar profile. So Banjack to me just looks well overpriced for all that he is just starting to be nibbled in. So again, do leave us a comment with your best bets for this weekend as well, with your nap, your next best and your long shot. That is everything from us on this week's Weekend Winners. Big thank you to Declan and to Sam for all of your hard work as per usual. Thank you to you for watching and for getting involved. Do remember you can watch all of Doncaster's action live on Sky Sports Racing, and for more tips and expert analysis, head over to the attheraces.com website or the ATR app. We'll be back next week where we'll be getting our final and best bets ahead of the Cheltenham Festival, so you really don't want to miss that one.